Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another tutorial. So in this one we're going to do some VFX visual graph and we're going to do these dots. So they are interactive and they are ignoring the player. So I just made some dots and you can have whatever you want. And this is how it works. They ignore the player. Or maybe you want to do some visualization, you can just play around with this setup. So yeah, this is what we're going to do in the VFX graph. So let's get started from a fresh scene. So the first thing you need when you have a fresh scene, you need to, in the Windows Package Manager, you need to download the starter asset and download this controller sample. When you've done that, you find it in your sample folder and you see the third person controller. If we just drag and drop that scene into the scene, we just move over these three components into the scene. And then we just remove this one, remove scene, and don't save. Now we have this one set up. So if we play, we have the player working as it should. So here you see we're running around, works perfectly. The second thing you want to do is to make a script. And well, before we start with the script, I'm going to show you, we're going to do visual effect and visual effect graph. And we're going to do the minimal system. So I'm actually going to name it the same as the scene itself. And I'm going to place it here. And I'm actually having a script that I'm going to attach to this VFX. And to this VFX, let's see here. Let's do like this. Whoops. So here we have the visual effect component and we have this script, and the script is super easy. It's I do execute in edit mode, so we can see in edit mode what's happening without the press play. We have the player position, we have the visual effect. So you just do visual effect dot set vector 3, and then you need to do this player push attribute, and then you just pass in this position, and you need to add this using unit engine.vfx. So if we open up this VFX graph, then we just in here we add a vector 3. We're gonna rename it to player position and save it. So now in the code, because we have this name here, it will set the correct values. So the VFX has this script, and we pass in the VFX script itself to visual effect, and we do the player armature. That's where this thing is. So we put it in here, and now everything is set up. So the first thing we need to do, we need to make some kind of grid, and so we're gonna make an integer, and we're gonna do grid size, and we're gonna make sure we have it. We can start at 10. It's okay. We can do a range. It's nice because then we have a slider. Like sliders, so let's do like this. So the grid size is like how big it's going to be, like 1 times 1 or so. And we need to spawn something here, and we're going to do, well, we only need to spawn it 1 time, so we're going to do a single burst. And because we're going to do the grid size, so let's say if the grid size is 10 as a default, then we need a grid size that is 10 in X and 10 in I. That means we're going to have, we need to multiply it by itself. And why we do this, then we know how many particles to spawn. So we're going to spawn 100. And here we're going to do 10,000. So this is how much we can actually spawn, but this is the actual real number that we will spawn. So we're going to make some more room here. We're going to move this one up a bit. Then we're going to go into this initialize particles, because here we're going to set up the start position and such. So what we're first going to do, we're going to get grid size. And so the grid size, to make the first kind of row, we do get particle ID. So particle ID we start at 0 up to 100 because we have only 100 IDs. And what we do with this is that we do a modulo. So whenever this number will be 0, 1, 2, 3 and up until 10, because this one is 10, then we reach the end of the grid, then we do modulo. So then we kind of, on 11, it will start on 1 again. And when it comes to 21, it will start on 1 again. So, yeah, but actually it only will go up to 10 and 11 and then start at 1 and go up to 11 and start at 1. So that's good. But now they're going to stack on each other 10 times. So then we need to, let's see here. So the other thing is then we're going to do a divide. So if we do, let's say if we have 5 here, and so if this is 0.5 or 5, let's say, if this is 5, this will be 1. And if this is 15, this will be divided by 10. It's going to be 1.5. And if we do ceiling, it's going to be 2. So what we're doing is, if we do this vector here and we do this into the X position, and here we do set position. Wait, was this set position? Yeah. So we do this here, and we actually have this one up here. This should actually give us the, oh yeah, because we're spawning, sometimes we just need to kind of reset it. And okay, oh yeah, and also there's another thing, and the reason why we want, okay, let's see here. We see anything. Okay, we see some dots here, right? So before we continue, we should do the materials so we can see them better. So we're going to make a create shader graph, URP lit shader graph. We're going to have the same name, VFX 07 interactive dots. And in here, we're going to make sure that we have ellipse, and we're going to plug, so we're going to, in the graph settings, we're going to make sure it's here, support VFX Graph, and also we're going to do the opaque to transparent, and then we get this alpha thing here. So we just do the ellipse, plug it in here, and I'm going to do the size 1 to 1, so now we have dots, and I'm going to make sure we do a color, and this color are going to go into the base, And also I like to have the smoothness at 0. So we could do default color. I'm going to orange. So because we set this support VFX graph here, very important. Now in the VFX graph, down here, output particle quad, we can actually, if we open this one up, we can just assign it here like this. And now we see the particles. We're supposed to see them better, but we don't see them. That's strange. Okay, they are here. So let's see what's happening. Okay, so you see the color here. It's the alpha is 0, so we need to pump it up. Because we're actually setting the color in this node here. We are not setting the color from the shader. So we could actually just change it here to another value if we wanted like a bluish something. So if we go back to the scene, now we should see the dots like this. So now we see them. Where are they? Here, okay. So the dots are very small, so we're gonna address that too. So the dots are small because we haven't really set the size, and they have a default size here. So if we do set size, and I think default is 0.1, but if we change it to 1, now in the scene, you can see they are much bigger. So this is nice. And the reason why you see them like this and not like this is because you can this is the center of the particle system. And if you look here, the engine are being smart and think, well, now you're not looking at the VFX graph, so you don't need to render it to save power. So, but what you could do, you could just here in this bounding box padding, you see it's only 1, 1, 1. If you do 10, 10, 10, or even bigger, of course, you see here now, you can actually see down here that you can kind of change the size of it. Now you can see it even though I go out here, and you can make it bigger, of course. But we don't really need to care so much about it. And the other thing, we want the dots to look upwards. So the dots here, we just need to do set angle, or is it? I'm just going to check my notes. No, we're going to have in here, we're going to do orient. So in the orient, I'm just going to do, if we look down here, you can see what's happening. So if we do 1 here on the eye, that means eye is Z is the forward, and the eye value going to be the up value. And if we do that to Z, that means now for the plane that we have, the up value is in this blue line here, right? And then the forward direction is in the I direction. But the thing is that it's actually, by default, it's flipped. So we set the forward direction for the plane to be on the I, this green I direction, and up to the Z direction. So now we know, okay, we just need to negate the Z direction, because we need to flip the forward direction for the blue dot. So now we can see it. So now it's easier to work. And what we want to do now, we want to make sure that this setup is not starting here, but it's starting down here. So the center is where the character is. depending on what your system's going to be, but I'm going to do that. And so I'm going to do, so this one is setting the position, right? The rows and columns. And now we just need to, here we need to do subtract. So if we do a vector 3 here, we can just offset this, right? Now you see it will be we actually want it like this, right? And in order to have it like this, we need to work with this grid size. So because we know that this grid size is first we do divide, because we know it's 10, right? And if we divide it with 2, and then we just, in the X and I, if we plug it in here, you can see it's almost in the center. So you see it's almost in the center, and that's, we should actually have the player over here. And the reason is because we need also to you see it's not really starting from 0 either. It's starting from in the center of a dot. And the only thing you need to do with that one is to kind of add 1. That's going to represent 1 dot offset. And then here you will see that it will offset and be in the center. Okay, we're going to do -1. So now you see, this is great. So that's how I want it. So I'm actually gonna quit the tutorial here and continue in the next one, because now I have everything kind of set up. So in the next one, we're gonna make them smaller and bigger, random, and do some offsets and stuff. And yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and looking forward to see you in the next tutorial. Bye.